Hey guys, my name is JessiMew, and welcome back to Adam's Quest. In the last episode, Truffle came up with a plan to lead the ape further away from our tribe, though it would appear as if their plans worked a little bit too well. Bluebell was actually singing her songs to entice the ape, to lure him deeper into the jungles, where they're hoping to lose him somewhere else, far away from the ports that we need. But I guess he enjoyed her songs a little bit too much, because he seems to have locked eyes with her traveling group. It would be fine aside from the fact that she's about to give birth. She's so close to the end of her lifespan, and she needs to have an heir to pass those songs to. Her toxic body means that she should be fine. It gives her that distasteful appearance that the ape shouldn't be too interested in, but if her baby is born without it, then they run the risk of getting absolutely shattered by this ape. So she's hoping she can make her way down the shore and get to the safe haven that she's heard so much about. But that'll only work if we can carve our way through these thick jungle weeds. I guess that task is going to fall to you, Wolfsbane, since you're the one with the biggest claw. And I suppose your sister, Wildflower, could even help out too. She probably wants to find a way to catch Citrus's eye anyways. She has developed some rather strong feelings for him, and there'd be no better way for her to get his attention. So I think if we move Bluebell over here now, we should be able to have her pick up these weeds, and then maybe we can lead Citrus out to the tide pools. I'm a little bit worried about him too. We don't want him settling down too close to the ape either. And before we go any further, let's just make sure there aren't any carnivorous plants out this way. Oh, this one's interesting. It looks like we have another healing fruit out here too, but right next to one of those carnivorous plants. You've probably gotten some pretty good meals in your time, haven't you? Imagine our sick creatures stumbling over here to take their medicine, only to find themselves swallowed up by a carnivorous plant. Poppy has had enough trouble over here with the carnivorous plants herself, and thank goodness for realist training. If not for her, then she probably would have been swallowed whole, never to sing the songs of the fairies again. So let's just make sure that we steer very, very clear of that side of the jungle, at least until we have more able bodies to help us out. Oh, Citrus, you can jump way down here, lighting up the way to the safe haven for Bluebell. She can't get very far herself because she is rather slow, but we can at least have her settle down on the opposite side of the jungle tree. That way on the next turn, she should be able to settle herself down right underneath the safe haven and build a good nest for her baby. So Wildflower can get pretty far too. I guess down here in the water should be far enough, right next to Citrus as well. And then we can have a Wolfsbane hop on top of the stump to scout around the area and make sure there aren't any other apes that they need to be made aware of. Well, at the very least, you guys have plenty of food to gather here, but we still have this ape situation. I'm sure he's going to miss those songs of yours. So Truffle, this might just be your time to shine. It was always her mission to make the safe haven actually safe, so maybe she can hear the whispers from our god of sacrifice, Comet, telling her to swipe at the ape, get his attention, and then lure him away from her family. Now I don't want her to settle down in the tall grass, because I think that would make her a little bit too well hidden. In fact, even this might be too much. Maybe we should have her settle down over here instead, which is close enough that the ape is definitely going to hit her. But she needs to lead this ape away no matter what. We'll have to find a good pathway for her to take, because I'm not sure if the apes can actually cross the water. I've never seen one go into one of these streams before, so we might need to lead him across dry land. But I suppose we'll have to cross that bridge when we get to it. And for now, we'll come back to our much more peaceful shores, where we have little babies to raise again. we have Illusion and Haunt, both who were born from our healers. I'm sure that Water Lily would like to take them over to the healing fruits that Rihanna is supposed to use. Maybe that's how she could even show them how to heal. For now, we'll have her settle down between them, maybe gather up those nests since she won't be needing them anymore, and Haunt can get a feel for the shores, toddle around with those big clumsy claws of his. He is one of our strongest, so he'll need to learn grace pretty quickly. I think that Foxglove would definitely consider Rila to be ready now. Now that she has saved Poppy from the carnivorous plant, she's ready to go out into the world and see if she can lead her tribe to greatness. I suppose for now we could have her just hunt down one of these moles. We can have Poppy come over here and pick up the meat for her. That way she can use the rest of her turns to follow the path of our adventurers. And she's going to be in for quite the surprise when she runs into Truffle. Leaf is also quite content to just hunt the moles. He can go ahead and scoop this one up for a little Harp, who has a few more berries to pick up, just like her mother showed her how. Though I have a feeling that she's going to want to find some adventures of her own too. She was never very content just sitting by these berry bushes. She wants to explore just as much as Truffle did. She may not be one of our strongest creatures, but she is actually quite well protected from the advances of the apes. Her stinky tail and her distasteful appearance should make it quite likely that they'll leave her alone. But for now, I think all we can do is skip the day. So let's see if Truffle's plans are going to work. Hopefully the ape... Oh no, the ape wasn't interested at all? Oh, that is not good, Truffle. Your plan has backfired. Oh, we can't possibly let this ape get to either Bluebell or Wildflower. Wolfsbane, I think you might have to help Truffle out. I think this might be our only shot. You'll have to swap places with Bluebell. We'll bring you over here so she can settle down on the stump, and she can still place down her nest. We absolutely can't let her pass away without having her baby first. Then I guess you're going to have to take a swipe? Unless we can maybe lead Truffle down here first. Then she can at least light up a pathway. If only we could get around the ape. Oh my goodness. It's those jungle weeds. They're what are stopping us from really moving freely around the jungles. So I guess you're going to have to lead the ape down the shores. Kind of like what we were expecting to do before. And we'll have to hide away your family so he doesn't notice them, hopefully. Hopefully this attack will be enough to distract him. Is Truffle really not fast enough? Oh, there we go. To set up right behind the ape. I mean, she could take a swipe too, but then she's not going to be able to move. I think instead, we might want her to pick up this grass. So he could turn around and hit her right here. But she knows that this is her destiny. She needs to lead this ape away. So Wildflower, you better tuck yourself away inside that tall grass too. Hopefully that'll offer her enough camouflage that the ape won't notice her at all. Though it looks like she is still pretty much revealed. Luckily, the distance between them should be enough, and she's well hidden behind the rocks and the trees too. Maybe we should have had Bluebell make her nest over here, so it would be a little bit more secluded, a little bit more well hidden away from the ape. Well, I guess all we can really do is cross our fingers now, because she only has one more turn left, so she wouldn't have enough energy to build another nest. You're going to have to just trust in your tribe mates now. And she knows that Citrus is going to take very good care of their baby anyways. He can help teach them all of her old songs, so her ways will live on. Maybe what she could do is pick up a little bit of this grass. Should she pick up the jungle weeds? That would be a good way for us to block the advances of the ape once more, because I don't think he can travel through those either. So instead, why don't you try to crack open some of these shells? I wonder if there's any roots that we could dig up out here too. Unfortunately, it seems like that's the one thing we don't have access to by the safe haven. Oh my goodness! How many healing fruits do we have over here? Oh, this might actually be the perfect place for a war with the apes. We have 4 healing fruits basically right next to each other. So as long as we can make some clear pathways to them, then we might even be able to save Truffle. Even if she does get hurt from this, she should be able to take her medicine and get all healed up again. Well, I guess that's a good reason for one of our healers to make a journey over here too. We know that Water Lily already knows about this healing fruit, so maybe she has a sneaking suspicion that there's even more out here for them to study. And I think it's Little Illusion who would be most interested in studying the strange plants. She seems like a very scientific soul to me. In fact, I have a few plans for her that involve the ocean right here, since it's what she seems to love the most. Those beautiful blue eyes of hers connect her quite well to the calm ocean waves. And if we could only find some little leeches swimming around, she might be able to use them in her experiments. She'll just need to find a willing test subject first. So hopefully as she grows, she'll be able to convince somebody to join her on the shores. Right now, I think Haunt is a little bit more interested in exploring. Now that he has gained his sea legs, maybe he wants to explore the tide pools. And you, Rihanna, you should finally be able to gobble up that healing fruit. Oh, we'll definitely need to bring somebody over here to gather up those berries too. Unfortunately, Poppy is so close to the end of her lifespan, I don't think she's going to be the one. She would be better off just digging up the roots for us, maybe carving out a little place for herself to rest, since not many other creatures have that power right now. It seems like she may be one of our last grave diggers. We have Bluebell over here, so fingers crossed her baby will inherit that gene. Otherwise, we might need to find a different way to channel them back into our tribe. So pick up the last of these berries, Harp. You can offer them to Poppy, and then on the next turn we'll bring you over here to help Rihanna instead. And you, Rihanna, you absolutely need to take your medicines. We'll have her scoop that up on the next turn, when Water Lily can join her and hopefully show her how best to use them. Now Leaf, I think you might be out of moles? Oh, but you're not out of bunnies. And I know that he wouldn't be willing to leave this one out here if it means another good meal to offer to his leaders. You know, Rila, you might actually be able to help us out up here. She's one of our few creatures who is actually strong enough to attack the big-eyed ape. Not by much, but she can do a little bit of damage. So maybe all that it needs is a good attack from one of our Berryina claws. We'll bring her up to the peaks so she can gaze down at the battle and get a good idea of what she's in store for. She needs to come up with a good plan of attack. If only Foxglove was around to lend a paw, though even he with his claw is not quite strong enough to do any real damage. So instead, he might as well help us collect the food. We'll bring him over here to pick up the bunny meat on the next turn. That way Leaf can go after any other little morsels that he discovers. I think we're all out of safe turns to make though, so we'll definitely want to go back here to check and see if Bluebell's baby is going to be okay. Oh my goodness. Oh, that ape showed you absolutely no love, Truffle. And he reduced your lifespan by 7 days. Oh, you are going to need to go straight over to those healing fruits. Thank goodness we have so many. It should be able to save her. But the good news is, it looks like Bluebell's baby does have the toxic body. And not only that, but I think I see little stripes too. Oh, that's a good thing. That means that she's going to blend in with the tall grass. So maybe the ape won't notice her at all. Though to be honest, she kind of looks like a big-eyed ape, doesn't she? With that golden fur and the stripes. It is awfully similar, suspiciously similar to our big-eyed ape friend. He might just think that you're his baby if you're not careful. Oh, and it looks like the game may have named her after our bluebird leader. Well, this is very, very interesting. I feel like you have a grand destiny ahead of you too. So we need to pick out a fitting name to carry you forward. Citrus and Wildflower would surely be the ones to name her. So perhaps in honor of Bluebell's family, who were so often named after flowers, and also in honor of some very old deities of ours, we'll name this little baby Moonflower. Mooneye was a creature a very long time ago, who was said to ferry souls over to their next lives. So perhaps Citrus and Wildflower are just hoping that Bluebell's spirit might have found a way back to them through her very own baby. But we have some bigger things to deal with at the moment, including getting Truffle to her medicines. So if we bring her up here, she should be able to gobble this one up. And now we need to be super careful about where we bring her next. If she gets hit by the ape again like that might just be the end of her lifespan. Rila can swoop in to lick her wounds though. That way she shouldn't take any bleeding damage, and they can both gauge the situation from afar. The best case scenario would be if the big-eyed ape still gives chase, because then they can continue leading the big-eyed ape away from the babies, and that is always the biggest concern. That was what they did for Rila when she was very young, so I suppose she would want to repay the favor. But what on earth are we going to do with you, Wolfsbane? Oh my goodness. I mean, you're basically in its line of sight now too, and that would mess with their plans. But it would also give them the opportunity to follow in your shadow. So maybe we do want the ape to follow you? I don't think he's camouflaged right now. As long as he doesn't sit in the tall grass, then the ape should be able to find you. We just need to make you look a little bit more appetizing than creatures like Wildflower or Citrus. So can you do me a favor? Try to slap the ape again, and then scoot on back down the shore, and we'll see if second time's the charm for you. I think the only reason why he went after Truffle instead was because she was literally standing right behind him, so she was a very easy meal for our ape. It'll be interesting to see if he still considers her vulnerable, or if he goes off for Wolfsbane instead. But the other big concern is making sure that you guys are still very, very well hidden. Citrus honestly doesn't have the best camouflage, and neither do you, Wildflower. I was hoping that the tall grass would offer a little bit more cover for them, but without those stripes, they're just not blending in well enough. So I guess for now, since you do have to stay right next to the baby, you can just count your lucky stars that Bluebell didn't pick up those weeds. That's one pathway that the ape shouldn't be able to take. He'd have to go all the way around the shore just to get to you. At least Wildflower can do a spot of hunting. We'll bring her into the grass over here to swipe up this mole. You know, if they make their way down to these flower ports, that might be the best place for them to raise Moonflower. I think it's pretty clear that these two will raise this baby together, but the song lessons will have to wait, because they can't risk the baby drawing the ape's attention again. So fingers crossed, all is going to work out well for that family. Now it looks like Leaf might have another little mole to catch, but maybe we should send Foxglove out to do the dirty work instead. We'll have them swap places. Foxglove wants to contribute too, in some of his final days on the island, and I suppose Leaf could always come down here instead to crack open this carnivorous plant. Ah, and it looks like the piranhas are getting quite curious about our creatures on the shores. Maybe they've noticed Illusion, who looks strikingly like the piranhas actually. She and her brother are both that deep dark red. Maybe she'd even feel a little bit of a connection to these strange creatures. Let's bring her over here so she can study them a bit more closely. I guess she might even have to get up close and personal right inside the tide pools. Oh my goodness. Yeah, talk about up close and personal. Don't let yourself get munched on, okay, little one? You're lucky that you don't have any leeches to contend with yourself. I guess that'll have to be part of her studies. Now, Water Lily, on your very final day, you have one last creature to heal. We'll have Rihanna go ahead and gobble up the healing fruit too, as Haunt watches all of these fish just swim in circles around him. If only one of these would get just a tiny bit closer, he should be able to scoop up each and every last one. Those big claws are going to be very helpful when it comes to scooping up the piranha. So I wonder what Rihanna is going to do with her life. She is just as strong as her sister, so she has the capability to do some damage on the apes as well. But I wonder if maybe Rila is starting to back off on that plan. Maybe she's starting to realize that they need brains instead of brawn. That would doubtlessly create some sort of rift between them. I feel like Rila would be a little bit jealous of her sister, since she is quite a bit healthier than Rihanna is. But with that deformed paw of hers, she is jealous of her older sister's health, and she'd feel like she's just wasting her potential if she doesn't go out for the full attack. So it'll be interesting to see how she copes with that news, if it ever gets to their tribe. But for now, I guess all we can do is have Haunt wait by the shores, literally haunting the tide pools, to see if any of those fish are going to get close enough for him to swipe up. I guess you can wait right over here. That way you should be able to scoop up the mole on the next turn. But otherwise, it's back over here to our resident ape to see where he's going to go. Yes, thank goodness he's locked eyes with you, Wolfsbane. A valiant sacrifice, because now you should be able to lead him away from the tribe once and for all. We'll have to have somebody lick his wounds, though. Hopefully Truffle can catch up. If we bring Rila down here, maybe Truffle can dash into the tide pools, and they can jump ahead just enough together that she should be safe from his reach. It is a very dangerous game, leading this ape further away from our tribe, but it's one that we need to play if we want to make sure our babies will be safe. There are so many ways that this could go wrong. If the ape just gets the slightest whiff of the baby in the grasses. But now that she's grown her first gem, she should be able to toddle after our tribe mates, so we can start leading her away from her old home. I guess for now we're going to have to leave the nest right on the stump. Maybe as a little sign to Princess Rila, so she knows we're still around. Maybe she could even follow their trail toward the flower ports, so she could help to protect this family. Because I feel like it's pretty clear at this point, Wildflower and Citrus would make a very good family together. And with Moonflower to raise, they're ready to have some children of their own too. Wildflower is actually the only creature in our tribe right now with the home immunity gene, so we know that she needs to have some babies of her own anyways. We'll just go ahead and fill up their mutation menu. I am going to put the no albinism trait into her second slot, because there is the possibility that we could end up with a little beacon again, and that will make it even harder for their family to hide. The big-eyed ape would be able to pick them out in the tall grass very, very easily. In fact, let's try to combat that for the future. Do we maybe want to place these stripes into one of their slots? Though since Wildflower has the dots, maybe that would be a little bit more effective. We'll put the dots in Citrus's first slot and then the stinky tail in the second, and we'll cross our fingers that some of those genes end up on their babies. So go ahead and breed with Wildflower, and then we'll see if she can find a good place to settle down and build a nest. Actually, you should be able to watch after Moonflower for us. And we'll have her... Oh my gosh! She doesn't even have to make her way down the shore. Is that too close to the ape? You know, I think that might be far enough away. He shouldn't be able to see you, and if your baby is born with some good camouflage genes, then I think you should be perfectly hidden. Let's have Rila slink back into the grass too. That way she doesn't risk calling the ape's attention again. But she better be super, super careful. Not sure if anybody else around here really knows how to crack open those carnivorous plants. So if you get sucked in, then you might be on your own. Oh, but there are so many moles over here to pick up. So many berries thanks to the rain. I guess you're going to have your work cut out for you, little guy. You better go ahead and pick up the berries though, because you never know when those pesky bunnies are going to come hopping around looking for food to steal. And it looks like we already have one of them off in the darkness. Luckily, they're not willing to get anywhere near Leaf. Though I wonder if a Leaf might actually be able to help Illusion out with her experiments. He might be just the sort of creature that she's looking for. Literally down for absolutely anything. He's always just going with the flow, and she probably figures he'd be pretty easy to convince. She needs somebody who's not afraid of the water after all. And he actually had quite an interest in the piranhas. He used to try to go fishing up in that piranha-filled lake. So perhaps she has found her match. She'll lure him down to the tide pools with talks about these piranhas, as she tries her best to scoop one up herself. Though without a single claw to her name, it seems unlikely that she'll get very far. That's why she needs a Leaf's help. It would be awfully nice if Haunt could get a little bit of help too. And maybe our other resident Bear-Hyena-clawed individual might be just the right one for the job. She is also quite close to where all of those piranha lived, so maybe she could lead him up to the lake, and they could do some fishing together. We'll just have to take a peek at this carnivorous plant, which seems to be safe and sound. It's too bad that they won't be able to gather any of the fruits, though with their strength combined, I think they'd be far more likely to carry out some more carnivorous ways. So one more time, let's make sure that Truffle's plan is still working, and the ape is still following right in their shadow. Oh, excellent. This time they were even just a little bit too far away, so the ape couldn't go in for the full attack. That means Wolfsbane has time to gather up the healing fruit, so he should be feeling quite invigorated, ready to go charging in for yet another dance with our resident big-eyed ape. So maybe if we have Princess Rila go deeper into the grass, if she goes around the carnivorous plant, of course. Oh, we have a visitor? Oh, have you been watching us from the shadows all this time? Are you perhaps some sort of little healer? Or were you coming here for the healing plants? Oh my goodness, he has the bird beacon as an active trait. Oh, that's our first glimpse of one of the new genes in Adam's quest. How interesting. I guess the birds are alive and well in the jungle after all. Well, it might be a good idea for you to invite this creature. Maybe he can help us out too. It seems like he was helping himself to our berries. Unless maybe he was trying to scare the bunnies away. I guess they stole every last one. But with his help, he should be able to make some clear pathways for us. That way our adventurers won't find themselves stuck in those situations that they were before, where they just couldn't carve their way through the jungle weeds fast enough. But let's go ahead and see what Wildflower's first baby looks like. Oh my gosh, she is super cute. Oh my goodness. I thought he had the lean body, but it looks like he actually inherited the water body instead. Oh, that was pulled straight out of Wildflower's genetics. And even better, he does have the home island immunity gene. So that means he'll be the one to carry it on for all of our future generations, so we can take it all the way to Adam's old home. So keeping in the theme of fruits, I guess, for Citrus's family, I think we're going to call this little baby Honeydew. It seems like a perfectly sweet name for this soft little water baby. Oh, he is going to love diving straight into the oceans. He can even gather up some of the fish with his claw. And I suppose he can go hunting around for roots too. We did need more creatures with the digging paw. I forgot that Citrus even had it. So that should be a good way to replace our food. And goodness knows, with all this running around the ape, we have gotten very, very low on our food supply again. So in the next episode, now that some of our babies have grown, maybe it'll be time for them to go out and do some real hunting. We'll see if perhaps Illusion can lure Leaf to the water as well. And hopefully they'll be able to find some little leeches together. It would be the perfect way for her to study the long-term effects of these wounds on our creatures. So maybe she can come up with a breakthrough that will keep our tribe safe for many generations to come. But for now, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye guys!